Fierce fight. Philippines. U.S. allies clash with China in disputed Luzon waters. Chinese Coast Guard ships repeatedly attempted to ram Philippine vessels over the weekend, according to Manila. The incidents, captured on video, took place west of the Philippines' main island of Luzon, where Chinese ships have maintained a steady presence since early this year in what analysts call a show of force. China claims more than 90% of the South China Sea under its self-declared 10-dash line, citing vague historical rights that overlap with claims by the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, Brunei, and Taiwan. A 2016 international tribunal sided with the Philippines and rejected Beijing's claims. China has dismissed the ruling as invalid and continues to send its heavily armed Coast Guard, naval warships, and paramilitary maritime militia hundreds of miles from its coast to enforce its claims. Newsweek reached out to the Chinese Foreign Ministry and Philippine Coast Guard for comment in a statement posted to X, formerly Twitter. Philippine Coast Guard spokesperson Territorial accused Chinese ship CCG 3302 of reckless and dangerous maneuvers on Saturday and Sunday, including multiple attempts to ram the BRP Cabra, a smaller Philippine patrol vessel. Manila released a video showing the Cabra's crew hailing the Chinese vessel and warning it had no right to patrol within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, EEZ. Under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, a country's EEZ extends 200 nautical miles from its coast, granting it special rights to marine resources. The footage appears to show the Chinese vessel repeatedly chasing the Cabra, maneuvering aggressively with the apparent intent of colliding using its reinforced hull. A second Chinese cutter, CCG 21612, was seen arriving on Sunday and joining the encounter. Throughout the afternoon, CCG 3302 made multiple attempts to ram the aft of the BRP Cabra, Territorial said. Due to the PCG vessel's superior maneuverability, the China Coast Guard deployed a smaller, faster vessel, CCG 21612, to further attempt to ram the Philippine Coast Guard vessel. Territorial said the Philippines would continue to shadow and challenge Chinese patrols, adding that the country's Coast Guard would demonstrate unwavering resolve in the face of intimidation. Beijing has repeatedly accused its neighbor of violating its territory, hyping the South China Sea issue, and being a pawn in U.S. efforts to contain China. Jinggoy Estrada, President pro tempore of the Philippine Senate, was quoted by local media Sunday. This reckless behavior is deeply concerning and warrants unequivocal condemnation. Our government should take decisive action by bringing this matter before the International Maritime Organization. The incident, an attempted head-on collision with the smaller BRP Cabra of the Philippine Coast Guard, was a clear violation of the Convention on the International Regulations for Preventing Collisions at Sea, to which China is a signatory. Tensions are expected to persist as Chinese patrols continue off Luzon and around several contested features within the Philippines' EEZ. Meanwhile, the Philippines and the United States, which share a 7-decade-old mutual defense treaty, are preparing to kick off their largest annual joint military exercise, Escalating. Around 15,000 troops, including forces from Japan and Australia, are set to participate. The escalating maritime confrontations between the Philippines and China in the South China Sea continue to raise alarms, with new incidents over the weekend exacerbating already strained relations. Philippine officials have accused Chinese Coast Guard ships of aggressive maneuvers, including repeated attempts to ram Philippine vessels patrolling their exclusive economic zone EEZ, located off the coast of Luzon. In a statement, the Philippine Coast Guard, PG, reported that Chinese vessel CCG 3302 attempted to ram the BRP Cabra, a smaller Philippine patrol vessel, on multiple occasions. The incident, which took place on Saturday and Sunday, was captured on video and showed the Chinese vessel maneuvering dangerously close, attempting to collide with the Philippine ship. As the situation escalated, a second Chinese ship, CCG 21612, arrived to intensify the confrontations. The video footage shows the crew of the BRP Cabra attempting to communicate with the Chinese ships, warning them that they had no right to patrol within the Philippines' EEZ. Under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, the Philippines holds exclusive rights to the marine resources within a 200 nautical mile radius from its coast, which China continues to dispute. Despite the Philippines' firm stance, China has repeatedly rejected the 2016 International Tribunal ruling that dismissed its expansive claims over the South China Sea. Beijing continues to assert its right over more than 90% of the region, an area rich in resources and strategically important to global shipping. Philippine lawmakers have expressed serious concerns over China's aggressive actions, calling for international intervention. Jinggoy Estrada, President pro tempore of the Philippine Senate, condemned the actions of the Chinese Coast Guard, urging the government to bring the issue before the International Maritime Organization, IMO. This reckless behavior is unacceptable and must be addressed by the international community, Estrada said. In response to the growing tensions, the Philippines is reinforcing its maritime presence. The Philippine Coast Guard has pledged to continue challenging Chinese patrols, asserting that they will not back down in the face of intimidation. Furthermore, the Philippines, alongside the United States, is preparing for the upcoming Escalating military exercises. The joint military drills, which will involve around 15,000 troops from the Philippines, the US, Japan, and Australia, are seen as a demonstration of solidarity and resolve against China's growing influence in the region. As the standoff continues, experts warn that the South China Sea issue could remain a source of friction, not only between the Philippines and China, but also within the broader geopolitical landscape, as the US and its allies seek to counter China's assertiveness in the region.